time for another fairy tale. This fairy tale is The Emperor's New Clothes, and the story was written by Hans Christian Andersen, a Danish author, and first published in 1837. Here we go. Emperor's New Clothes. This is Emperor Bear. Emperor Bear ruled over a vast kingdom. He had a fine crown inlaid with sapphires. He had the most beautiful velvet pajamas in all the land. And he was absolutely happy. That is, until two visitors came to town. Two visitors from a faraway land came to see the emperor. And when they got before the emperor, they bowed down low. And they said, Your Majesty, we are tailors from a faraway country. And the emperor said, Well, that sounds interesting. What does a tailor do? Oh, Your Majesty, they said, we sew clothing, but only of the finest cloth. First we weave the fabric together, and only the most brilliant and the most wise can see the fabric. And then we sew it into the most beautiful clothes fit only for an emperor. Well, the emperor thought this was interesting, and so he started thinking, well, I have been in my pajamas for a long, long time, almost a year and a half. Maybe a new suit of clothes would be a good idea. So the emperor said, Okay, you can sew me a new suit of clothes. The first thing the parrot and the chicken did was measure. First they measured around the emperor's neck for the neckline of the clothing. Then they measured around the emperor's belly for the belly of the clothing. The emperor was not happy with the sides of his belly. And then they measured around the emperor's legs and even around his head. They wanted to make sure that they had all the measurements of the emperor so that his clothing from the finest silk spun on the finest loom would be perfect. The emperor was pleased with this beginning. The emperor visited the two tailors often as they were weaving the fabric. He saw the loom. He saw them working. But what he didn't see was the fabric. The emperor thought, could it be that I am not wise, that I am not brilliant? No, that can't be, he said to himself. So he pretended that he could see the fabric. And the parrot and the chicken kept working and working, making the fabric for the emperor. The fabric that he couldn't see. The next time the emperor visited the tailors, he brought his advisors with him, Sir Caterpillar and Sir Hippopotamus. And you know what? They couldn't see the clothing either, but they didn't tell that to the emperor. They pretended, just like he did, that they could see the finest silk in the richest colors being woven on the loom. Well, after a while, the two tailors said, the fabric is ready. Now we will begin sewing it. And that's what they did next. The emperor and his advisors came back and saw that the tailors were very busy at their sewing machine, working hard, making the clothing. Do you like how it's coming along, Sir Emperor? Said the tailors. Yes, said the emperor. Yes, said the caterpillar. Yes, said the hippopotamus. But none of them could see a thing. Well, the day finally arrived for the emperor to try on his new clothes. Of course, his advisors were there as the two visitors, the tailors, put the clothing on the emperor. There he sat in his underwear, and they put the clothing on him. They put on his royal shirt. They put on his royal pants. They even attached a royal cape on the back. Or at least that's what they said they were doing. And the advisors looked at the emperor, and all they saw was an emperor in his underwear. But they didn't say a word. They didn't want to let the emperor know that they were not wise enough or brilliant enough to see the clothing. So they pretended that they did. They said, "Oh, Emperor, you've never looked better. You look so magnificent. You are going to be the talk of the town." Well, thought the Emperor, if I'm going to be the talk of the town, perhaps we should have a parade. And he said, "Make it so, let's have a parade." And the tailors were very pleased because they got paid a good amount of money to make those beautiful clothes for the Emperor. The Emperor got ready to go on his parade. For the parade, the advisors went first, and then came the Emperor in his underwear with his fantastic clothes on. The paparazzi was busy taking pictures of him, and the crowd of people gathered along the road as the Emperor marched by. There he goes," said the cat. "Yes, there's the Emperor in his fine clothes," said the dog. And everybody talked quietly amongst themselves. No one was sure if they should say that they couldn't see any clothes on the Emperor, just his underwear. Well, soon enough, one little ducky said it for everyone. "Emperor Bear? More like Emperor Bear naked." And everyone said the same thing at the same time. "Oh, that's right! He doesn't have any clothes on! Did you see that? The Emperor doesn't have any clothes on!" What do you suppose the Emperor did? He kept right on marching. He kept right on marching. He realized he had been fooled, but he kept right on marching. What do you think? Do you know how the two tailors fooled the Emperor Bear? Yeah, they made him think that he needed to be brilliant and wise to see the clothing, and he didn't want to say, "I'm not brilliant and wise, I can't see the clothing." So he pretended that he could. The two tailors got paid for doing nothing but pretending. They tricked that emperor, didn't they? That is the story of the Emperor's New Clothes. I hope you enjoyed it.